Hi, Colin here to go over how to set up an effective workstation for yourself. The idea is that we want to set up a workstation that puts the least amount of stress on your body overall and is the least damaging over the long period of time. Since we're all spending so much time at the computer, let's figure out how to do it right. So, first thing that I always go over with people is their keyboard height. It's really important that your keyboard is below the level of your elbow if you were to let your arm hang by your side. And this is the rule of thumb for preventing a lot of shoulder and neck pain. So right now I've got this set up just about right, so my elbow's here, keyboard is below that level, and I'll tell you this is the reason why, is that if your keyboard is up higher, what ends up happening is one of two things. If my hands are up higher like this, there's a tendency for my shoulders to rise up. And if I'm lifting my shoulders up like so, what happens is these muscles that raise the shoulders up, or the shoulder blade up, the trapezius and levator scapula, they end up constantly contracted over a long period of time, hours sometimes of working on the computer. If you have stress, it's going to cause them to come up too. And if you've got stress on top of already lifting these up, you're going to end up becoming more of a chest breather, and you're going to tighten the muscles in the front of your neck too. So it's better to just try and let your shoulders drop, let your arms drop, so that your elbow is actually swinging like a pendulum, and your shoulder becomes the hinge for that, or the fulcrum for that. If you can imagine your arm being like dead weight and letting your shoulder just drop as well, all of this is going to be much more stretched out, and it's going to be much more comfortable for you on a long-term basis. The other tendency is, if people have the keyboard up higher, is for the elbows to flare out to the side. This starts to engage a lot of the musculature through the side of the shoulder and also the trapezius yet again. And this will also lead to other strain patterns. So, keyboard below your elbow level, try and let your arm be like dead weight. Just let it relax and hang. Alright? There's no need to try and lift up the elbows or lift up the shoulders. So, if you're using a mouse, the same rule applies. That means you want that mouse to be below your elbow level, so when you're going to glide that mouse back and forth, again imagine your arm like dead weight, and you're just using as little energy as is necessary in order to move that mouse back and forth. So here we have an under the desk fold out drawer here, or slide out drawer, and this is really helpful. If you already have a desk that's set up and you're used to having your keyboard up above and it's too high for you, places like Staples, Office Max, they have these kind of slide out drawers that you can install into any kind of desk. So I would recommend going out and getting one. It's a really worthwhile investment. The other thing is to make sure that if you're using a laptop like I've got here, make sure you've got a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse so that it can be dropped down lower like this. So now let's talk about the monitor height, or the screen height. So again, whether it's a laptop or desktop, I want this to be at my eye level. This is a little bit below my eye level right now, but we don't want your head to be bent forward or backward, because that's going to put a lot of extra stress on here. You're already going to have stress on your neck from working on the computer over long periods of time. So you want this to be right at eye level, and from that position, then we want to talk a little bit about posture. There's a tendency for people to start leaning forward as if looking at the screen that way, getting closer to the screen, is somehow going to create better work or better concentration. I think it's just kind of a subconscious habit that a lot of us have, but what that does is it tends to round your shoulders, it tends to shorten the muscles in the front of the neck and upper chest, and it tends to overstretch the muscles through the back of the neck and then through the trapezius and between the shoulder blades, causing those muscles to have to hold up the weight of your head instead of having your head balanced above your neck. So in order to change that, what I would suggest is just try and develop some awareness when you're on the computer, and check in with your body and see if it feels like your body's falling forward. So you can always close your eyes at any point that you're working and just check in and go, wow, if I just let go, would my body fall forward, or would it continue to be stacked and in alignment? So in order to get it back into the correct position, you don't want to pull the shoulders back and down. That's old school way of just getting into another rigid position. What I want you to do is imagine there's a string attached to the top of your head. It's elongating your spine, and as it elongates your spine, it simply brings your whole rib cage up just a little bit, and now my head is balanced above my neck on top of my shoulders, and my spine's in better alignment to carry all the weight of my skeletal and muscular system. So, being in this position, it takes practice. It takes time. Put a post-it on your screen, some sort of reminder that pops up, just says posture or elongate or whatever. All these things are really helpful. Now, if you are bending forward, some people do have to bend forward to reach things on their desk, etc. Try and avoid the rounding of the back like this. This kind of rounding will actually create a lot of pain right at the base of the rib cage. You don't want that. This is going to be creating low back strain over time as well. And in order to change this, you're going to go back to elongating the spine. You're going to hinge from your waist. So you're simply keeping the back nice and straight, and you're just hinging from the waist as you need to reach forward and coming back. Rounding is not the way to go. So those are some tips. I hope they're helpful. And make sure that when you're at your desk and you're doing your work, breathe. This would probably be the last thing. That's when you breathe, see if you can avoid breathing just up into your chest. See if you can make your actual belly expand out to the side, front and back. And if you notice that you're getting stressed at work, go back to that kind of breathing and elongating the spine. And it's going to help to kind of reset your whole nervous system so that you're not so much on the fight or flight, type A, got to get it done, but you're grounded, centered, and you can proceed with your work in a more effective way.